So, Lionsgate is going to be using AI to let filmmakers augment their work. The studio expects to save millions via a pact with startup Runway. So let's just get into this briefly. Instantly, people will have an opinion on that, I'm sure. But let's get a little bit more info first. So, Lionsgate is aiming to save a boatload of cash using generative AI tech as an assistive, creative tool for filmmakers. So, Lionsgate, who did quite a lot of stuff like John Wick, Hunger Games, etc., has announced a deal with applied AI research company Runway, whose investors include Google, AI hardware vendor Nvidia. Touted as Runway's first deal with a Hollywood studio, the pact centers around Runway's creation and training of a new AI model, customized to Lionsgate proprietary portfolio of film and TV content. So that's important. The AI model is customized to Lionsgate's own IPs. Lionsgate owns a film and TV library with more than 20,000 titles. So this is trained with exclusively, essentially, their titles. It can't be trained by other titles. It wouldn't legally be allowed that. It'd be a copyright issue. So according to Lionsgate, Runway model generates cinematic video that filmmakers, directors, and other creative talent can use to augment their work. That AI-generated video can be further iterated using Runway's suite of controllable tools, Lionsgate added. So according to Lionsgate Vice Chair Michael Burns, several filmmakers the studio works with are already excited about its potential applications to their pre-production and post-production process. We view AI as a great tool for augmenting, enhancing, and supplementing our current operations. And then it just says that they plan to save millions and millions of dollars. We do a lot of action movies, so we blow a lot of things up, and that is one of the things Runway does. So they're going to be doing some stuff like that, which is okay. We're committed to giving artists, creators, and studios the best and most powerful tools to augment their workflow and enable new ways of bringing their stories to life. This is the Runway founder and CEO. The history of art is the history of technology, and these new models are part of our continuous efforts to build transformative mediums for artistic and creative expression. The best stories are yet to be told. Lionsgate is an incredible creative team, blah, 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 blah. Two things. It says here, the best stories are yet to be told. That, cross-reference that with the fact that this is trained with Lionsgate's IPs. These are not new stories. The best stories are yet to be told. It's not. It's merely going to be a replication of Lionsgate's own library. AI doesn't create. It doesn't. It just replicates stuff. So if you're training it with Lionsgate's own portfolio, I mean, we've reached peak creative bankruptcy. Like you are literally just going to be remixing Lionsgate's own library and rehashing it together to create something new. But it won't be new. It will be an amalgamation of what's just come before it. I mean, how much more creative bankrupt can you get as a studio? I mean, this is just nonsense. AI doesn't create. It doesn't create anything new. It just replicates stuff. Anyway, whatever. There you go. I think this is lame.
So
but
my understanding of this is a little different. I think what they're doing is they're training it with their stuff so that they can utilize it for previs, so that they can, flesh out to see if a scene is going to work or it needs to add a scene in between.
Production, mate.
Sure. Well, I hope not. But if that, like I said in my video, if they're going to truly use it for what they originally have stated, then it makes sense because it's going to cut down a lot of time in the creative process, figuring out what and what does not work. But they can certainly do. They can certainly do a lot of things with this, including have it do the visual effects work. But then again, I'm not certain that would be the best use of it. And as you said, really all they need to do is kind of punch in a story, throw it up against what they've already done as far as like a good visual, of your successes like John Wick and things like that, and Hunger Games and the things they've done well, throw those in for comparison, and then come up with something, that reasonably constructs scenes in a way that makes something make sense, or fill in a gap if you're creatively stuck. If you use it for that purpose, I'm on board. If you use it to replace visual effects artists, though, I absolutely think this is ridiculous. I also think that if you're looking for it to create a pure story in and of itself, I think because of what you said, we won't get anything that'll be good. Yeah. Oh, I understand it generates cinematic video, but that's my point. Is all you want out of that is in a matter of a few minutes to get like, you know, a rough out of what your story is based on previous visuals that you've been able to produce in your other films. Anyway, that's my understanding. If they use it outside of that, then A, they're misrepresenting what they want to do, and B, they're going to have a problem with the visual effects folks. So
yeah, I don't know. I got a really bad
I have a bad
opinion
feeling
of
about
AI
it.
as a whole, just because I think you're removing all art, and as a species, as a society, we've not been generating art for a while. I don't think no art worthy of note anyway. Very few pieces of art worthy of note, and I think I think that's quite tragic, to be honest. So yeah, lame. Go on then, Bo. What's your take on this, mate?
Well, I am extremely suspicious of all AI in every context. I'm extremely suspicious of it. Personally, I don't want it. That's just me. Just personally, that's just me. I've got no need for it. I don't want it. I don't. I never ever use it. I've never ever used Chat GPT or whatever it's called. I've not been on it once. I'm not going to. Okay, the essence of what we are as human beings is sort of fairly immediately corrupted by AI. I don't like it. I don't want it. There's obviously there's sort of the Skynet thing, the Skynet worry that it will become, it'll become self-aware and decide it doesn't need humans at some point. Of course, there's that sort of ultimate thing. But just Chat GPT to help you write a script or something. No, do it yourself. Come on now. Now, the idea that Lionsgate or any big studio will use it to rehash all their old stuff is pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Script writers and writers in general, or the creative community, whatever you want to say, been scraping the bottom of the barrel for a while, just been using near brain dead Californian children to write their scripts for them. And even that isn't enough. They have to scrape the barrel in a new and innovative way. They'll use AI to scrape the bottom of the barrel. The scraping of the barrel isn't being done thoroughly enough by humans. So we'll get computers to help us scrape the bottom of the barrel. It's gross and disgusting. And the thing is, right? Okay, I've written a fair bit in my time. I write articles for Lotus Eaters and been published a couple of other places. Writing something original is difficult. I've turned my hand to novels a few times. Never been published as a novelist yet. But writing something original is difficult, especially for it to be not completely crap, right? And when I was younger, when I was in my late teens or early 20s or mid 20s even, it is extremely difficult to write something original that's good for a few different reasons. For a start, you can't help but copy other people you admire, right? I couldn't help but sort of write something and it looks like something George Orwell would have written. I'm sort of using the same words he would have used, or then I'm really into someone else, some other writer, and I write something. I realize I'm sort of ripping them off in some way, and so to find your own voice, you have to live a life first. That's why it's nonsense when you have novelists that are like 19 years old. They haven't done anything. They haven't lived a life. They don't know their arse from their elbow. They're not going to write anything meaningful or deep about the human condition, about the journey through life, about what it means to have loved and lost, right? And AI can't do that. AI won't do that, or it won't do it very well, or it'll be a shadow of that. It'll be a parroting someone else, a human that has done that. It won't be any good. So no, I'm extremely suspicious of AI at all times. I think it would probably be, if we could zoom out far enough, I suspect AI will be a massive detriment to human civilization. I suspect, but could be wrong.
I agree with that.
Could be wrong.
No, I would agree with that massively.
Maybe it will take us to the stars thousands of years earlier than we would otherwise have done. I don't know, but I don't like it.
I think AI for computing fine. You know, AI behind closed doors for computing and things like that. AI every day for these types of activities and the general. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a time and a place for it. I think, yeah, I find it odd when you're using AI on something which is fundamental for culture and society. Like, that's odd, you know, because movies are cultural. They're things which we sort of sit around and we watch together as a culture. They become cultural touchstones. Certain things happen, you know, it's innovative, it changes cinema, and that becomes part of history. You then start using AI for that. It's really weird. But I think, so, you know, say if Elon Musk used AI, Grok, whatever, for its high computing power to solve an issue with jet fuel or what, I don't know, something like that. I think that's an appropriate use of AI. I think that makes sense.
I think, like a lot of technologies, I mean, I've just completely poured scorn 100% on AI. Let me walk back slightly from that. Like all technologies, like all innovation and change, it's nearly always a double-edged sword. You know, take, for example, the advent of rocket engines. Okay, it could take us to the moon, but it's also intercontinental ballistic missiles, right? It's simultaneously the greatest of our achievements and the thing that can annihilate us all, right? That's I assume AI is something similar. It sort of, you know, it may be able to create, you know, 3D printed hearts that will save loads of lives. All right, it might be able to help us synthesize the advances in medical technology might be astronomically good, right? But it also rob us of our creativity. You know, it's sort of both things at once. And the thing is, the worry is, you know, it might be able to create and design a whole new starship engine which will take us to the stars, which man on his own would never have been able to do. It would take us millions of years before we could have done it, and we can do it in a century or two because of AI. Okay, maybe that, but also we end up mindless. You know, we sort of end up mindless because we outsource nearly everything to AI. I think it's one of those things. I think it is an epoch-changing event, the advent of very, very sophisticated AI, and we're not quite there yet. It's still a bit crap, isn't it? Really, ultimately, it's not taking us to the stars yet. But
it's just a search engine. It's a glorified sort of search
at the moment
and compiles things. That's all it does.
for now.
It's just,
yeah. But you can see how it possibly, if and when it does become an amalgam of all of our knowledge in a very true sense, and is able to make connections which humans don't. You know, if I don't know, but if we do end up in a future where it is capable of truly learning for itself and making connections for itself, I sort of fear that is in the future. It might still be decades or centuries from now, but I suspect it will be able to do that at some point. It will be sort of a game changer for the whole story of humanity. And I fear it. I don't mind saying that. I think it's a worry.
No, I think it's interesting. We do actually have some super chats about this. So Lee, a bit more jokey, says, I think they used AI to write the last Expendables movie. I think they are using AI already to write movies because I just don't put it past them, to be honest. I think they're so bad it makes sense. And then Marshmallow says AI is a buzzword. Used to be algorithm, now it's AI. Furthermore, Hollywood is a closed-off industry. It doesn't allow for creative individuals to enter that world. Literally, domestic refers to US only, and international is everyone else. Yeah, I mean the end part of your. So yeah, I don't know whether AI is a buzzword. It's become a buzzword. Algorithm, I guess so, but
I think it's fair. I do think it's fair to say that we're just at the dawn of the AI age, because I actually agree with you. At the moment, at least, it isn't artificial intelligence. That's not what it is. It's not intelligent in any way. It's just a program. Whatever you program into it, it will spit out what you've programmed it to spit out, essentially. But I think we're at the very dawn of it. You know, it's like the idea of you've got the very, very first steam pumps, which then lead to steam engines, which then lead to the internal combustion engine, which then lead to rocket engines, and so on. Imagine AI in 300 years from now. As I say, it might be truly intelligent, potentially. I think that's where it's going. At the moment, it isn't that. It isn't that. But well, we'll see. Yeah. It's like, you know, like exponential growth or compound interest or things like that. You know, it can very, very suddenly be a whole new thing.
Yeah, I think
quite suddenly. Yeah.
No, interesting point of conversation there, guys.